What's going on, y'all? It is Portia A. Cosby, to be exact, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of my first novel, Too Little, Too Late. Um, so I just figured I would pop in and give you all just a little bit of the history behind the book. I've just been sitting back and reflecting quite a bit, and it's mind boggling to me that one, that it's been 10 years since I first published the book, and two, that people are still impacted by Tameka's story. That's the main character in the book. So um, just reflecting on my journey and just how things just seem to fall into place. Maybe you care, maybe you don't. But those who do care, settle in. Just gonna tell you a little bit about the Too Little Too Late journey. So first, if we talk about the story, the original story actually is older than 10 years. You may be like, oh, well, duh, it took time to write, so maybe it's 12 years old. No. Actually, I first came up with the story of Too Little Too Late of Tameka in 2000. Nope, I'm lying. In 1994. That would have been, 23 years ago? I was a freshman in high school at Beaver Falls High School, and I was in CP, college prep English class. First started with my teacher, Mrs. Ryan. I give her all the props for sparking the writer in me. She offered us extra credit for writing a poem or a short story. And I started off writing poetry, but it just made me want to write more. And so I started writing basically, I guess, what was supposed to be movie scripts. The first one, I forget the point of it. I think it was pretty much all over the place. And since I'm in love with TLC, I don't know, to me it was going to star all of TLC. And I don't know what they were doing. But then I was watching a newscast one day, and really, I've never been a big news watcher, and of course at 14, who is really tuned into the news like that? But they were talking about a woman who was raped, and for some reason that resonated with me in that moment. And I just took a moment. I'm like, wow, I wonder what that's like. What happens next? How's she feeling? I don't know. And from that, immediately, I was like, I need to write about this. It was very odd. And so, quite frankly, the story was in my head that night. The bulk of the story was there. The character names were there. So I knew that my main character was going to be named Tameka. I knew that she had this boyfriend and he was in the streets, but he had a good heart. And I knew I wanted his nickname to be TJ. I knew how it was going to end, and I never wavered from that. I knew that that's the story that not only did I want to tell, but I guess what needed to be told, ultimately. I didn't know that at the time. I'm 14. I'm just writing for kicks. So I set out to write the story, and I did. I wrote it as a screenplay, obviously not in the correct format. But I remember I had this blue binder, like a Trapper Keeper. And I had pink paper. And I would write pretty much every day. And it caught the attention of my classmates, who would be like, what are you over there doing? And do we have homework? And I'm like, oh, no, I'm writing a story, And so they came over and they would be like, oh, what's going on? And I told them, oh, this chick, she ends up getting HIV. And, they're like, what? And so it kind of became this thing where everybody's like, well, make me a cousin, make me somebody's cousin, or I could be somebody's boyfriend, and so it was fun. It was all in good fun. And I put so many random characters in the story, just because my classmates was like, yeah, I'm gonna be that person. So that's how Too Little Too Late was born.